Man has hunted since the beginning of time. What began with crude weapons and animal images scrawled on cave walls has developed into a multi-million-dollar industry. From the Tilton Hiltons to the mansions in the marsh, we hunt and we cook. Everything from rabbits and raccoons to deer and ducks, while learning about the passion of sportsmen through the ages. Man's love affair with hunting is really not about the kill, but how to prepare a sumptuous wild game banquet after the hunt. Now get that camouflage apron and join me, Chef John Folse, for another Taste of Louisiana.
Funding for After the Hunt with Chef John Folse is brought to you by the Baton Rouge Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. Day is dawning on the Mississippi River and the sun is shining on Baton Rouge. Attractions, shopping, food, and Southern hospitality you know and love. Go BR and go brighter. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Our mission is to tell Louisiana's story to the world. And by the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism. Vacation planning guides are available at louisianatravel.com. You wait all year for your vacation. Don't sleep through it.
All right. Do that one more time. Blow that up. How you doing there, Buckley? Nice to see you, baby. There it is. It's the call of the hunt, huh? How y'all doing, everybody? Hey, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Doing all right? How are you? Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me in Sportsman's Paradise for yet another edition of A Taste of Louisiana. I'm thrilled to have everybody in the studio audience with us today, as well as all of you out there across television land. I just wish you were here with us in Louisiana today. Our kitchen musician, Dan Calloway on the French horn, calling us to the hunt right there. Give him a hand. He's gonna, you're gonna do a couple little renditions of the hunt after a while, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's what we're hoping. Is that all you can play? Is just that one little?
That's it. That's it.
Huh? Can you do a little something with a little, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, Judy Whitney-Davis, jump in every time you know, this time. No. For those of you who have been hunting, whether we're out there hunting for rabbits, squirrel, deer, or even predators like coyotes, there's a thrill, a symphony of sound conveyed by the dogs as they chase and bay their prey. The mystique of the hunt has mesmerized writers and composers for centuries. Members of these early hunts still echo in the words and chords of those early literary and musical geniuses. Let's take a look at them. Huntsmen through time have considered the barking and baying of hounds a symphony in itself. The high, cheerful barks of the smaller dogs in concert with the deep baying bark of hounds was truly music to their ears. Many 18th century composers tried to capture the essence of the hunt in their scores.
Musically, there's a very strong connection to the hunt that comes from the use of the hunting horn. There were no valves on those instruments, so they could only produce a limited number of notes. So naturally, those limited number of notes fell into a certain pattern. And that pattern, those different patterns, became the kind of the sound of the hunt. And so some composers wanted to capture that sound into their music.
Many bohemian pieces featured fanfares and music for the French horn. Trumpets became popular instruments in hunting music as well. The Hunting Cantata No. 208, composed by Johann Sebastian Bach, was first performed at the hunting feast of Duke Christian of Saxony, Weisenfels. Leopold Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus' father, composed a hunting symphony in D major in 1755.
Leopold Mozart wrote a symphony called La Caccia, The Hunt. And he actually, as you know, way in anticipation of Tchaikovsky's 1812 overture that uses cannons, he wrote for gunshot. And specifically, it's very interesting to see the notation. He wrote for two different muskets. At the time, they were muskets. You might consider it part of the percussion section, but it's really just part of the ambiance and a special effect, and one that I'm sure caused great joy to the people listening to it. I'm sure it was a big surprise.
Joseph Haydn, a passionate hunter himself, composed the Symphony No. 31 D major for string orchestra on a hunting estate in 1765. Many hunting cantatas and symphonies composed during this time are still played today. As in music, poetry and hunting articles filled volumes in the 12th and 13th centuries. Perhaps the most important hunting manuscript from 14th century France was written by Count Gaston III, one of the most prominent huntsmen in Europe. He lived near the Pyrenees from 1331 to 1391 and had more than 600 hunting horses and 1,600 hounds. In 1370, he published one of the first textbooks to describe hunting methods of the age.
There are 44 extant manuscripts of the Livre de Chasse, so not only does his writing style appeal to modern readers, but it clearly appealed to his contemporaries as well. His work is divided into three big parts. The first part is about all of the different animals and their attributes. The second part is where he talks about taking care of dogs. The third part it's composed of 26 chapters on traps and snares, although he himself was not particularly interested in trapping and snaring. He felt that the battle had to be equal.
In the following centuries, members of the ruling class wanted their hunting conquests recorded in wonderfully illustrated folios.
Maximilian I was the Holy Roman Emperor at the very beginning of the Renaissance. He was a pretty boastful guy. He no doubt had hunting skills, but he liked to exaggerate them.
It's so interesting to peruse musical scores and manuscripts from the past to better understand how our predecessors thought and felt about hunting. I can only hope that we are contributing in some small way to the literature of the Louisiana hunt today. All right, Dan. We're going to be hearing a couple calls of the hunt. Now the horn is actually being used for what reason in the hunt, Dan?
Different signal purposes, either to call off the hunt, to tell people to leave, or to call your dogs and get...
That would never work in Louisiana. That little tooting of the horn right there, that important hunting call, that would probably tell Buckley and his hunters at the camp, hey, there must be a little band going on down the street. Look. Anyway, very nice to have you. Hey, thank y'all for being here, everybody, huh? We have a couple of great guests with us at the kitchen table today. First of all, Dr. Monica Wright, literature professor at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, right here. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, I also have Buckley Kessler. Buckley has been on the show a couple of times because he's a sugar baron and an outlaw. He's one of my best friends. When I want game, 90% of the game I cook here comes from Buckley. That tells you he's an outlaw, right? No, I'm just kidding. Buckley, thanks so much for always bailing me out, especially on the geese, the geese. No, the geese, there were 5 of them, huh? I went to St. James High School. We only had single. We only had goose. We never had geese. Susan Lipsey, y'all, sitting at the counter here. I'm going to be doing a recipe that she and I did in our home together. Well, let me tell you what we're doing today. We're going to fire up this cast iron skillet because even though we're cooking in a crock pot, and I say even though like there's something wrong with it, I'm going to be cooking doves because a long period of time in cooking, long and slow always brings out the best flavor in food. Do you know that? Long and slow cooking, the braising in liquids, aromatic liquids, really make for a nice flavor. I'm going to take my dove breast. See these little beautiful dove breasts, huh? Isn't this just some of your favorite food? Absolutely. Dove, some of your favorite food, absolutely. Normally, you know, on my holiday table, I have doves. Now, this is in place of turkey and ham and major cuts. Dove is what I like to have. Look at this. Just beautiful. I'm going to go right into my little skillet. And I'm going to put some butter in here using my, people love this bottle right here. It's an old Model A oil bottle from the 1918s. And I'm going to put a little bit of it in there. a little bit buttery flavored oil. You can use vegetable oil, and it's going to go ahead and I'm going to cook this really, really nice and just to put a brown or caramelized flavor before I go into the crock pot. Monica, I should say doctor. You know, a level of respect here. Huh?
You'd be the first.
And you can just call me Master Chef.
All right.
Good deal.
Thanks, Chef.
All right. On a first name basis here. Monica, let's talk a little bit about while my dove breasts are browning. And feel free to drink out of the bottle if you want to, the hunt, writers for generations have been writing about the hunt. There's an extensive amount of writing having been done. Now, I know you've done so much research on. Tell us a little bit about the importance of the writing for hunting.
Well, the first thing that it shows us, even before we have manuals for the hunt, is its place in society, because rather than in the earliest accounts of the hunt, which date back to the 12th century with the birth of European literature, the hunt is used mostly as a narrative device, and it shows us how the hunt has a place of prominence in the society. So it gives us a cultural context for the hunt that we don't necessarily get from visual representations of the hunt.
Well, I think also when we look at the canvas, we're looking right directly into that visual piece real fast, and we can make up our mind what's happening. But the written word actually takes that narrative all the way through, and you live with the experience of the hunt. Really, really important, and I'm so happy that you're here with us today. And I know you've written a book on the subject, which we'll talk about in a little while. And so my doves, y'all, perfectly browned. I'm going to go into my crock pot. I'm very serious about my cooking. Right there into the crock pot. Now, I'm going to come in with all these other good flavors. Right, all the other good flavors here. Potatoes, carrots. Oh, yeah. Come on, y'all know. I'm starting to feel a little something from you guys now, huh? I hadn't felt anything from you before. Okay, the carrots, all of that wonderful stuff in here. Now I'm going to put some stock. Absolutely, a little game stock in here. And, of course, the most important thing of all, and I made sure it was organic, cream of celery soup. Got to have it. You cannot cook in a crock pot without cream of celery or cream of mushroom soup. You put the lid on, 9 hours later, it'll be ready for you right here, 9 hours later. So y'all be here at, hey, I have it right here. Let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into my little pot over here. I'm going to put, y'all want some grits? Yeah. I'm going to go right into the grits, right into my beautiful bowl with the grits. I'm going to slide on over. This is my crock pot of things already cooked. I'm going to come in here. See that? This is 9 hours later. Look at that. Whew. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Huh, now you're not making fun of my crock pot, huh? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, just absolutely beautiful. I'm going to put that down right here. Doesn't that look good, Monica?
It does, and I'm telling you, 9 hours jumping ahead,
that's exactly right.
That's so literary.
That's right. Just like the written word, it pops right off of the page there, right, huh? Right. Y'all, I tell you, we had a wonderful opportunity to go out with Buckley Kessler to cook doves over at your wonderful hunting camp, and what a camp it is. Y'all join us over there and see what we did. Y'all, we're here today at near the little town of Wright Castle, Louisiana, with my good friend and great hunter. I have to tell you this story sometimes later about Buckley Kessler, who's the owner of this wonderful camp. Does this camp have a name?
The Duck Camp.
It's the Duck Camp. Now, it's a beautiful old home. Now, is this an old Cajun cottage in the area? Because White Castle is near Baton Rouge, about a half hour away,
right.
45 minutes away.
Actually, John, it was two old homes that were put together. This is where the one ended and the other one started.
Right.
And I understand they were brought here with mules a long time ago.
Well, I tell you what a great camp it's made. Now, what kind of hunting takes place out of this camp?
Deer, dove, a lot of duck hunting.
Well, now, the recipe that you're giving us today is dove, and if we take a look at this little bitty bird, you wouldn't think that there's much on it to actually be able to cook. But what recipe are you going to do?
This is going to be dove breast wrapped in bacon. You can use duck or geese to do the same thing. But
well, why don't you go ahead and cut that one? I'm going to.
Okay.
Now, you gave me a good lesson that The bird's been obviously deboned, and we have the breast here. So I'm going to start off, as you said, with a skewer with a little water chestnut. And then I'm going to come with a strip of bacon, right around it. Now you can put jalapeno, you can put whatever
Philadelphia cream cheese.
Yeah.
Keeps it moist.
Any seasoning go on to the to the breast?
You can, John. Sometimes we use the same dressing. We use anything like.
Well, I'm going to use jalapeno. What about that?
That's great. Kicks them up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely.
Really good.
And you just kind of slip it right between.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then that goes. Now I've already skewered it with one of the water chestnuts right on. I don't know how water chestnuts got onto a Louisiana quail dish, but it skewers just like that. And then I'm going to do another one quickly by taking that little piece of breast. How's yours coming right there? Just, you can go ahead and start putting that one together. And now, what is this recipe I got from you for our cookbook? But this is a typical recipe that's used in many camps as a little appetizer.
Yeah. Great,
Now,
great way to do it.
now you can grill it, right? What's ways of cooking? Look how nice
Yeah, we
that
do
is.
it on a pretty hot fire, and when the bacon's done, it's done. You don't want to overcook the doves.
Yeah, because
they'll
the
dry
dove,
very rapidly.
So what I have here, Buckley, is I'm going to just kind of brown it nicely in yours. As soon as you get yours done, I'm going to put it in here. Now, this is does this ever get into an entree where you're eating 2 or 3 of these, or is this typical of something you're going to drink with eat with a nice?
We normally do it as appetizers, but you sure can.
Yeah. And they cook instantly, right?
Oh yeah, very fast.
So just once you get yours and you put it in here, and now you make a little sauce to go with it. And I see that you're using brown sugar because we're in the heart of sugar country here, and you have you run one of the largest sugar mills in Louisiana.
Yes.
And
that's where it came from.
And how many tons of this did you make during the sugar season this year?
We made 360 million pounds.
Okay, Buckley, throw it right on in here like that. And again, look, yours is fancier than mine. I just kind of pushed mine together. Now what we're going to do, let's assume that this is on a grill. You normally make a little sauce to base with. Can we make it right in the skillet here? All right. So we're going to begin with a little red wine vinegar, just like that. All right. We're going to put, ooh, that's popping. That stuff pops. You talk about a hunting camp, it sounds like we're shooting outside. Now we're going to go ahead and put the butter in, not a brown sugar. And this is going to just continue to brown. That sugar's going to melt and make a really nice taste to it. And y'all, it's simple as that, a great appetizer in a hunting camp made out of 2 old homes on the side of a cane field in White Castle, Louisiana. This is what it looks like when it's done, right there. I can eat one of these right now, right? All right. Judy Whitney-Davis, y'all, right here. All right, don't y'all want to hear the dogs call back in right now? Isn't that what they and just one other question. Why don't I get clapped? Why don't you clap for me like that? Huh? Okay. All right, Dan, let's hear a little something. All right, okay, everybody. Hey, thank y'all so much, and Buckley, what a great job! Thanks for opening the camp for us to do that wonderful little appetizer. And that's typical of many of the dishes cooked at the hunting camps, just as the guys get around the stoves.
Absolutely, start out with.
Just put it together as quick as you can, huh? Now, y'all, I have a great dish here, an absolutely great dish. This is a dish. One day I had an opportunity to go over to Richard and Susan's house and walk into that magnificent kitchen y'all have at home as well. And you shared with me a recipe for your smothered doves. And we talked a little bit about cooking game. Now, do you cook a lot of game? Have you cooked it over the years?
I have cooked a lot of game. And over the years, I much prefer cooking small game like doves. When Richard comes home from the duck camp, he not only brings his limit home and sticks it in the freezer, but several of the other friends who don't want to bring their ducks home, they all end up in our freezer. So we've got a freezer full of ducks and doves and and then fish from fishing trips. So at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's hard to get out a frozen duck and say, oh, let's cook supper. So
crock pot, Susan.
Yeah, crock. We didn't have crock pots when I had all this freezer full of ducks. But now what Richard is doing is actually breasting the ducks so that we have just little packages in the freezer that we can pull out. So that's what we're doing with the ducks now. But the doves I've always enjoyed cooking.
I've always enjoyed I think what you said is great. The smaller birds, the smaller breasts, and then, of course, breasting out the ducks and all. Yes. It's a fantastic way to enjoy game, but yet not have to fight the big bird, especially if the family is small or if you just don't have the time. Susan, you ready for this? What inspired this dish? Where did it come from originally?
I think Richard's mother and I started working on this recipe so many years ago.
Yeah.
And because I was more or less a lazy cook, I said I don't want to stir roux for 45 minutes. That's where we came up with the French onion soup that mixes in with the flour and the juices, and it does thicken, and it is just a marvelous flavor.
Absolutely, and I chose those two dishes today, the one I did earlier and this one, for that reason. They're simply the way people cook at home, and I wanted to just focus in on that today. I'm putting a little bit flour on the doves that I've already browned in the pot. And take a look. Once again, I have the dove breast. I have all of my beautiful seasonings right here on the platter, the onion, celery, bell pepper. Now I've added a couple little things. You don't mind, huh? I'm going to go ahead and put it, just a couple of,
One of the premier chefs in the world to actually use my recipe is incredible, so I thank you very much.
It's a great recipe, and I really appreciate you recognizing me as one of the top chefs. That's why I'm using your recipe. No, thank you so much. Y'all, onion, celery, bell pepper. I've added a little flour to the dove breast, which are beautifully browned. Take a look at that right here, how gorgeous that is. Isn't that nice? Now, into that, I'm going to put French onion soup. Huh? You could write a whole novel about this can right here. No doubt about it, because cream of mushroom soup, onion soup, cream of celery soup, that is the pantry of the hunting camp in most cases, right? I mean, you know that because they add, and think about it, cream of mushroom soup and cream of celery soup and all of these are actually what we start to cook with when we put onion, celery, bell pepper in a pot with butter and we saute it or bacon fat. We're just making this. We're adding a little beef stock to it. Now, I can't really say about the mushrooms. These are just mushrooms. But boy, I tell you what, it's a good way to add just a little creativity to the pot. Huh? Yeah, just beautiful. Okay, now, just to bring it back into the to the formal kitchen, a little bit sherry, right? I add a little sherry to it. I'm going to bring this to a nice rolling boil. The good news is, and now look, y'all take a look at this pot, because inside we have, if you didn't know, I dumped a lot of cans of onion soup in it. If you didn't know, I added these canned mushrooms, and you don't tell anybody, which I do when I own my restaurant. I used to do this all the time, cream of celery soup and cream of onion soup, and I just tell the customer, I've been working all day in the kitchen. They said, oh, it was wonderful. You know, I'm kidding you, right, huh? All right, y'all, I'm going to bring this to a rolling boil. Now, you would serve this over grits. You could serve it over biscuits. You could serve it a lot. This is going to take about 2 hours to cook. I'm going to take this nice big platter of biscuits. Y'all with me? Yeah. Home-baked. Home-baked, you can tell. Huh? Absolutely. I have me a nice little pot here of Susan's Doves. Can you see that? Oh, yeah. I'm going to go deep down into it like this. Yeah, I'm starting to feel it now. You're still not going to get any of this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it right over the biscuits. Look, they're falling off the bone. And the onion soup, I have to say, not only gives the birds great flavor, but certainly makes a wonderful, wonderful onion gravy that most cooks just start from scratch to do. It's really beautiful. And Susan, I tell you, I'm glad I stopped by that day for a glass of wine. Because
I certainly am too.
Because this is, I've served this to popes and presidents, actually, and just claimed it for myself.
This is your recipe now.
Y'all, I want to mention also I have some desserts here on the table that our chef David Harris made for us. We have some beautiful brownies right there, which we're going to give a bite of, and then a nice, wonderful, I'm going to show you this peach cobbler. Oh. Oh, yeah. Goes perfectly with doves. Thank y'all so much for being with us, everybody. We appreciate y'all being at the counter and talking to us about all of this. Thanks for the lesson in literature. Thanks to the French horn back there and Judy. And thanks to all of you for joining us in the swamps of Louisiana. And remember, y'all, that man's love affair with hunting is not about the kill and it's not about the skill. It's all about the fabulous feast after the hunt like we have here. We'll see you next time on A Taste of Louisiana. We're going to eat doves here. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for being here, okay? Thank you. All right, Judy.
To purchase the After the Hunt cookbook by Chef John Folse, an After the Hunt t-shirt or program DVD, call the number on your screen. Funding for After the Hunt with Chef John Folse is brought to you by the Baton Rouge Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. Day is dawning on the Mississippi River and the sun is shining on Baton Rouge. Attractions, shopping, food, and Southern hospitality you know and love. Go BR and go brighter. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Our mission is to tell Louisiana's story to the world. And by the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism. Vacation planning guides are available at louisianatravel.com. You wait all year for your vacation. Don't sleep through it.